From the Pacific News Center in Hagåtña, Guam, here's Clint Ridgell and Janella Carrera. Betsy Brown. Roselle Romanos. PNC Sports with Blake Watson. And weather with Rebecca Kim. With your news now.
Good evening. You're watching PNC's News Now. I'm Clint Ridgell.
And I'm Janella Carrera. With your top story tonight, the enforcement of medical marijuana if it becomes law and the rise in crime rates were some of the topics discussed in today's Attorney General debate. Here's a look at how the candidates did. Incumbent AG Lenny Rapadas and AG candidate Elizabeth Barrett Anderson squared off, this time in front of their colleagues with the Guam Bar Association. Medical marijuana was an issue brought up. Both were asked how they would handle the implementation and enforcement of the act.
If it does become law and it does go through, there is still a lot of work that needs to happen with that, and we do intend to become involved with all the different agencies that are involved. If it was something that was important to the voters, that is something that we will attempt to do.
My concern is how this commission is going to develop the rules and regulations. Enforcement has to be a critical part of those rules and regulations.
Incumbent AG Lenny Rapadas and AG candidate Elizabeth Barrett Anderson squared off, this time in front of their colleagues with the Guam Bar Association. Medical marijuana was an issue brought up. Both were asked how they would handle the implementation and enforcement of the act.
If it does become law and it does go through, there is still a lot of work that needs to happen with that, and we do intend to become involved with all the different agencies that are involved. If there was something that was important to the voters, that is something that we will attempt to do.
My concern is how this commission is going to develop the rules and regulations. Enforcement has to be a critical part of those rules and regulations, and I hope we can have more school resource officers, not just in the court system, but in the Guam Police Department, who can service all our schools.
Another question focused on crime rates. Specifically, Guam Bar members asked how each would address the decline in the number of prosecutions despite the increasing rates in crime.
I just don't think that the Supreme Court statement that there are less prosecutions is in and of itself an issue that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about, if I'm elected as AG, working with the Guam Police Department, revamping and strengthening the Attorney General's office, and working with the judges and the judiciary of Guam.
But when it comes to actual filings in our case, one thing that I think many of you should know and notice is that over the last year and a half, we've been in trial every single day. So it's unprecedented at this point that the court has been going on and on and on with its cases and its caseloads. And you know what that does? That causes our limited staff to have to pick up the ball, pick up cases, and run with them. And what that means is there are less filings, unfortunately.
And the debate was held at the top of the Mar. Police officers and firefighters respond when the public is in danger, but what happens when a crime is committed against them? PNC's Betsy Brown tells you about one incident that's left the Barragata Fire Station without their fire truck.
The Guam Fire Department is down a fire truck after the windshield of the Barragata Station fire truck was smashed during a call earlier this week. While a suspect has been charged with the vandalism, firefighter James Garrido says the crime ultimately affects the people of Barragata.
In the event that there is a major structure fire in that case, this truck being out of service will just actually defeat its purpose, and we're going to have to depend on assisting units such as the Jonia Fire Station, the Tumuning Fire Station, depending where the fire is located.
It was while firefighters were responding to a call in Mighty that they say an upset individual who was drunk threw a metal butane gas tank at the fire truck, shattering the windshield and putting the truck out of service.
And I feel that, you know, as firefighters and as our role as to protect life and property, without our equipment, it really hampers our operations. And it's just sad that there's people out there that would actually do something like this, especially to a government vehicle when we're out there trying to protect the public, you know. in whatever work that we need to do.
A forestry unit was given to the Barrigada Fire Station to replace the fire truck, but Garrido says it's not able to haul the equipment firefighters need for most calls.
In order for us to protect life and property out there, we need what it takes, and that's equipment, personal equipment and equipment that's on this truck, because everything on this truck is designed for that structure fire, tending to sick person, injured person, automobile accidents and stuff like that.
18-year-old David Ikea has been charged with criminal mischief and public drunkenness in connection with the cracked windshield. Betsy Brown, PNC News.
Today is the last day to register to vote, and according to the Guam Election Commission, the number of registered voters is disappointing. In fact, it's even lower than it was in the 2012 election, which was not even a gubernatorial election. Here's more.
As of yesterday, GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan says that the number of registered voters is at just about 51,000.
So probably about 51,000 right now. Is that good or bad?
It's a little bit disappointing. We want, Guam has had a reputation of having higher voter registration, have exactly higher real high voter turnout. We want to keep it that way. We want to maintain that. So let's go out and help each other, get our young ones to come out and register to vote.
This is just slightly better than the 2012 general election. There were 50,701 registered voters in that election, but that election wasn't a gubernatorial one. The 2010 gubernatorial general election had 52,821 registered voters.
Today is the last day to vote, to register. It's 10 days before the election, 10 days and counting. And so we're looking to see the district registrars get really busy at the mayor's offices.
So if you haven't registered to vote, you can do so at any mayor's office until 8 p.m. tonight, except for in Hagåtña. If you live in Hagåtña, you can register at the Guam Election Commission in the GCIC building. To register, you will need a passport. If you don't have a passport, you will need a valid photo ID, along with your birth certificate. You must be a U.S. citizen, you must be at least 18 years old, and you must have been living on Guam for at least 30 days.
Again, today is the last day to register to vote. You have until 8 p.m. tonight at all mayor's offices except for Hagåtña. If you live in Hagåtña, please go register to vote at the Guam Election Commission in the GCIC building.
All right, well, coming up next, Blake Watson has a guest reporter, and it's not a man.
Hey, Hafa Day, be sure to stick around because on sports coming up, we have, hey, Brittany Mesa Bell, everybody, from the Miss Universe Guam contestant line. Brittany, are you busy in the next 10 minutes? No. You want to stick around for sports?
Sure.
Yeah? We got soccer and basketball coming up. Stick around.
Being a